Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas shaping our world. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of the biggest, most disruptive topics out there, artificial intelligence in video games. This is a story about a technology that's creating both unbelievable opportunities and some really deep, really passionate conflict.
So let's just jump right in with this quote from a major industry player. Listen to that language. Completely disrupt everything. That's not just about a new feature or a cool gimmick. No, this sets the stage for a technology that's on track to change how games are made, how they're played, and maybe even what we think a game can be.
And if you want to understand why the stakes are so high, you just have to look at the money. Look at this number. We're talking about an industry that's projected to be worth almost $500 billion. So when a force as powerful as AI gets dropped into an arena this massive, well, you better believe the shockwaves are going to be felt by everyone.
So how did we even get here? It feels like in 2025, AI just exploded. It went from this kind of nerdy background experiment to the absolute center of every single conversation. But this wasn't some simple tech update. It was a shift that basically ripped the industry in half and forced everybody to pick a side.
Okay, let's start with the sunny side of the street. This is the optimistic vision, right? The one that technologists and a lot of industry pioneers were pushing. In this version of the future, AI isn't here to replace people. It's a powerful creative partner, a tool that's going to unlock a whole new level of potential.
And what's so fascinating is that you can really break AI's impact down into three totally distinct but equally important areas. First, you've got gameplay itself becoming more personal and adaptive. Then there's design, making it possible to build huge worlds way faster. And finally, you have the workflows, the behind-the-scenes stuff, becoming way more efficient.
Now, this is the crucial idea right here. Augmentation, not replacement. This is the dream. The idea that AI becomes this kind of tireless assistant. It handles all the boring, repetitive grunt work, and that frees up the human developers to focus on what really matters, the heart and soul of the game. The story, the feeling, the fun.
So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, take something like quality assurance, or QA. Instead of people spending thousands of hours trying to break the game to find bugs, an AI can spot a lot of those issues automatically. And that means the human testers can focus on the things a machine can never judge, like, is this game actually fun to play? But, and this is a huge but, as Razer's CEO points out, it's not as simple as just buying some new software. To really make this work, teams have to completely change the way they think. They have to throw out old habits. And let's be honest, that kind of fundamental mindset shift, that's always the hardest part of any revolution. Okay, so that's the dream. But the reality? Well, the reality got messy, fast. That whole optimistic vision slammed head-on into a much more complicated and, well, angry situation on the ground.
And this right here, this slide just lays out the two warring camps perfectly. On one side, you have the publishers and the executives. They're looking at AI and seeing dollar signs, more efficiency, faster production. But on the other side, you've got the artists, the writers, the actual creators. And they're looking at the exact same technology and seeing a threat to their jobs, their art, and the value of their skills.
And it wasn't just the folks on the ground who were worried. You had absolute legends in the industry, people like Dan Houser from Rockstar Games, who came out and were deeply skeptical. They basically said, hey, this AI stuff, it's kind of generic, it's soulless, and it's not nearly as useful as people are claiming.
But of all the battlegrounds in this whole debate, none, and I mean none, got more heated or more public than voice acting. Because here, the argument wasn't about automating code or generating some background art. This was about the potential to replace the actual human voice.
Oh yeah, the voice actors fought back, and they fought back hard. The real flashpoint was these contracts that would let companies use an actor's performance to train an AI model. This blew up into the massive SAG-AFTRA strike in the US, which did win them some new protections. But it really exposed this deep fear that this tech could just hollow out creative professions across the board.
So where do the players, the people actually buying the games, fit into all this? Well, they were split too. It turns out, mobile gamers didn't really seem to care all that much, but the dedicated PC and console audience, they reacted with intense criticism, and they quickly became this incredibly powerful voice, pushing back against AI.
And don't think for a second that didn't have a real impact. The community backlash was so loud and so fast that it literally changed company policy. We saw multiple studios have to come out, publicly apologize, and actually pull AI-made stuff from their games. It was a perfect reminder that player trust is a currency you just can't afford to lose.
Okay, so you've got angry creators and you've got angry players.
But there's another huge problem, and this one involves the lawyers. See, in the US, the Copyright Office has been pretty clear. You can't copyright something that was made entirely by an AI, and that creates this massive legal nightmare for studios. I mean, if you build a game with these tools, do you even legally own it?
So what now? After all that chaos, after all the fighting and the legal questions, where does the industry even begin to go from here? What could a path forward possibly look like?
Well, by the end of 2025, the dust started to settle a little, and a new reality took shape. It became pretty clear that AI isn't the magic bullet the executives hoped for, but it's also not just a fad that's going away. The whole industry has now entered this new phase of, let's call it cautious experimentation.
And it seems like the big takeaway from both sides of the argument is this. For AI to actually work, it has to be a partner, not a replacement. Its success isn't going to be about how powerful the tech is. It's going to be about how honestly and responsibly it's used to support human creativity, not to make it obsolete.
And that leaves us with this final, massive question. And really, it's a question for so much more than just gaming. As we keep weaving this incredibly powerful